What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about calf training and how you can start training your calves more effectively. And I'll be giving my top 3 tips on what I do when training calves in the gym. So let's get straight into it. So I've been getting asked a lot recently, especially this year, on how I actually train my calves, how I make them grow. It seems like a lot of people struggle with actually growing their calves more than any other muscle in their body. So I thought I'd give my best advice on what's worked best for me and what hasn't. So, tip number 1, drop the ego and start doing full range of motion on every single calf exercise. So many times I see, especially on the seated calf raise, guys loading it up with 2, 3, even 4 plates and barely doing any range of motion. This is so useless. You're not going to get any calf growth really out of this, or it's going to be really limited. What I recommend is lowering the weights. Like, I'll do probably max 1 plate when I'm doing seated calf raise and really focusing on that full range of motion. This means having a controlled eccentric, pausing at the bottom and then exploding to the top and getting a squeeze before doing the next rep. This will ensure you're recruiting as much muscle fiber as possible, and if your goal is hypertrophy, then this is what you want.
So I've really tried to emphasize this here in this clip. You can see that at the top of the rep, I'm pausing and squeezing the muscle before beginning the eccentric portion of the movement. And then when I'm at the bottom, I really make sure to go all the way down to get that stretch. And notice that I'm not just going through the movement, but really trying to focus on each rep. And I'll talk about this in the next tip here.
So tip number 2 is establishing a mind-muscle connection. Now, if you don't know what this means, simply put, it's being able to think about your muscle being shortened and contracted during the rep. So ultimately, if you're able to squeeze the muscle while you're working it, then you have achieved a mind-muscle connection. I've noticed that when I do use mind-muscle connection, especially training calves, I've noticed that I'm a lot more sore the next day and my pumps during the workout are way bigger, rather than just going through the movement and not really focusing on what I'm doing. So yeah, next time you're training calves, really try to focus on establishing that mind-muscle connection, and I guarantee you're going to be a lot more sore the next day. I only train calves like this now, and since I've started doing it, I've seen by far the most amount of growth. So my third and final tip is making use of higher rep counts for calf exercises. This is particularly important for calf training for the following reason. So your calves are made up of 2 main muscles, the soleus and the gastrocnemius, and both are overwhelmingly dominated by type 1 muscle fibers, aka slow twitch. And this just means that they take longer to fatigue over type 2 muscle fibers. So this is why it's so important to train calves with volume over strength. And like I said earlier, it just doesn't make sense to load up the calf machine with as much weight as possible, knowing that over 50% of your muscle fibers in your calves are type 1. So guys, lower the weight and just do more reps and really focus on each rep and making sure you're getting the best form and range of motion possible. Okay, so I would recommend doing 12 to 15 reps per set, or at least 10 to 15 reps per set for calves, and I'll usually do 4 or 5 sets per exercise. And I almost always work my calves on my leg days, just because it makes sense to do that, but you can work them on any day you want, really. And I'll usually just do 1 exercise for my calves, but really honing down on those 3 tips. Sometimes I'll do 2 if I'm really feeling it, but that should be enough volume to get your calves sore the next day. All right, genetics. Let's talk genetics. So I know everyone likes to blame genetics for having bad calves or as an excuse not to train calves because they can't grow them. But while genetics does have a big part on the actual shape of the calf and where the insertions on the legs are, it's not an excuse not to be able to grow them. Especially with the tips I'm just giving you, it will help accelerate the process of calf training. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight or after the first session, because it's not, but if you're consistently applying these tips week in and week out over a period of time, you will see growth in your calf training. Now for me, I've always had bigger than the average calves, thanks to my dad. He had massive calves growing up as a kid, but that's not to say that I've been able to grow them in the past couple of years, because that's where I've seen the most growth in my calves. I'll try to find an older picture to show you guys just how much I've actually been able to grow them in the past 2, maybe 3 years of training. by mostly just following these 3 tips. I've always wanted to have big calves because I thought it would look really cool having, especially in the summer when you're wearing shorts, having massive calves pop out. But yeah, I've been able to grow them a lot, mostly following these 3 tips. So I really hope it does help you guys. You guys are able to try them and see some calf development yourselves. Alright, so that's it from me guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you learned a thing or two from it. Take some of these tips next time you're out training calves and let me know what you think. Comment down below on what worked for you, what hasn't. If you have any other questions, I'll definitely make sure to get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week.